And we're live for part 2 of Sunday. Fun day, fun day. Oh, God, I gotta start with Allie. What's up, everyone? I am the hostess with the mostest, the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, North American Sybil. I am your messenger of God. God's first creation of himself in the feminine form. I am the dark goddess reincarnated, the goddess of rebellion. I am the Lilith. In order to keep up with me, you had to see what I post on my community page, my latest live video, and anything in my shorts. Right as I went to get on live, there was Ali had posted a video about how he wrote this song, and the caption says, how I wrote this song about needing hope, or about hope when I needed it most. Exnay on the Upidstay, Alligate. That's not why you wrote that song. Did anybody want to know why he wrote that song? I'll tell you what inspired that song. Because I was going through a situation with Bobby. And I wanted forever with Bobby. But I had to put that fucking notion of, all or nothing, in order to have a few special moments with Bobby. And he, like everyone else, was witnessing this. You can go back to the full moon of Aries to find out that story and how it went. Actually, I posted it quite funny in my post right now. That is in my community page. It was like, I was bae last night, and now it says you cannot send this person messages. I was like, dude, I had to go there to get here. In the essence, I had to go there. That door had to close on me for another door to open. And as far as being blocked, bro, I am the fucking block bitch. I'm like Bob the block building bitch. Really? Yeah, bro. I used to get so angry at people. Like, I do it just like daily, bro. Like 2-3 times a day. And that's what Morgan reminded me. I was like, he blocked me, dude. She's like, bro, you totally blocked him last week, and I told you to unblock him, and you're surprised? It's like, what'd you say this time? I always say the worst things. What does it do? It pushes you to hate me, I suppose, but it pushes you to evaluate yourself, and if anything, either you're going to hate me or you're going to forgive me. And again, that was what was so funny, because if you scroll up, that's what I did. I blocked him, and then she made me unblock him, and then he turned around and did it like a week later. It's not even really funny. And it is. It's very tragic when you're playing these little kid games with these people that, you're trying to make a connection with. Super funny stuff. Anyway, so, yeah, Ali wrote a whole song about it. Him needing hope. If you're looking for hope in a person, that's success. People are always going to let you down, Alligate. Does this have to do with something about your Islamic beliefs? I'm about to pull out the Quran on that ass. But for reals, what are you doing? What is the cleanup mess? What is the cleanup crew saying about this? It was a training module. It was a near miss. Shut up, dude. Shut up, Allie. You guys get on my nerves. When I realized that you were using my pain and suffering to make dollars and try to make sense out of it, and you're not the first to do it, and you keep doing it, and that's why I stopped listening to your fuck ass music. It should be inspiring, Bobby. They've been writing about us since the beginning we started this shit, bro. For real? Fucking Russ really tries to capture the dirty Lilith, and he just ends up making his girl look like a dirty whore. The things I do for you out of love seem so fucking disgusting and foul, the way he describes it, and then he calls it his girl. I love that birthday song. Jeez, talk about that. Oh no. Okay, so let's get back on track. That threw us a little bit. It wasn't. I should have said something the other day. That's exactly how I've been feeling since I heard the fucking start, the beginning. I prayed for forever, but I'll take one day. Shut up. Like I didn't know what that fucking meant? I'll kick you in your fucking balls, and then I'll drown you because you don't know how to swim. Piss me off. You know what? And the same thing goes to you, Bobby. I love you. I just don't like you anymore. I love Ali. I just don't like him anymore. I love Lewis. I just don't like him anymore. You could say that I judge them, but that's not what it is. I didn't even know them. I loved them before I knew them. When I knew them, when I got to know them, I realized I didn't like them, but it didn't change the love. It didn't change the love, and that's how it is. It's like goddess or whatever it is. I don't like you, Russ. I love you. I love you so much, man. I don't like anything you be doing, stupid shit you be talking about. I love... We said farewell to the Captain of the Caribbean. I'll never forget that, bro. That might be the thing that makes me die. Somebody might remind me of that when I'm like 99 years old. Be like, remember when Russ was going through that stage and he did... I don't like you, dude. I don't like how you guys be doing life, bro. But, you know, I don't have to like you. It doesn't matter if I like you. I love you. And that's where, you know, my conditions of... It's like, if you can't like them, then you can't love them. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing. So it's like, that's the ego, the ego break of the twin flame and what this is made to do. Is you learn to love the things you hate. Really, you break down the conditions of the mind. The love is stronger than the ego or the conditions of the mind. The conditions of the mind are rules, regulations, terms. I would never date a short guy. I would never date a guy that lives with his mom. I'd never date a guy that's 20 years younger than me. Oh, Jesus, never have I... Jeez, can I stop doing that? Just kidding. You know what I mean? I'd never do this, and I'd never do that, and I'd never do that. And now I know when I say something like that, oh, that's on the list of things we must do. You said you could never do it, but just for that reason you must do it. Why? Because there's something ego, pride-based or fear-based that keeps you from doing something that any other person would take part in. I would never smoke weed. Really? Okay. I'm sure you have your pride-based reasons or your fear-based reasons, but, you know, never should you ever. Here comes a little... You should try this. Fuck around and find out. No, I didn't like it. I didn't like it the first time either. Try it again. This is how addictions work. I can sell you a whole turd, bro, and you'll know you have a turd, and it's just the way I deliver it. You're like happy to receive this big pile of shit. On the delivery. Going back to it. No, I could never fucking mess around with a married man. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. I could never mess around with this. I could never be with a man like Lewis. None of that mattered, bro. And that's really what it is. Am I there with Wolfman? No, not yet. I could never. I'm working on the never could I evers. Not really, I gotta be honest. I'm not really even giving you much energy. At this point, I think that club sandwich that interrupted my reading earlier took more of my energy than I've given to you. Other than the fact that, you know, you just pop in. And that was a pure example, guys. I want to show you that. There's this funny thing that happens at the end of my last video. I'm praying, and I stopped the prayer, and I was like, I think I'm hungry. It wasn't like the typical, my stomach's burning, guys, I'm fucking starving. No, all of a sudden in the middle of my prayer, I get an image of a club sandwich. That's what I mean. I don't think. I'm guided. So that's how it would be even if I was in the store or something. Or like, what are you going to have for lunch? I don't know. Until I know, I don't know. I don't know. What are you going to wear tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know until I'm given that image. So that was a cool moment. But in the sense of, no, I'm not really, like, thinking about you. I went to your page a couple times. It went from disgust to numb. So we've made some progress. I'm not ready to watch your videos or anything. Realistically, it's kind of like a princess thing, bro. It's like, we've chosen a dude for you. Like, really? Who's the dude? Oh, you fucking chose that guy? Why the fuck did you choose that guy? That's me. Don't take it offensively, bro. It's a pattern since the beginning of time. There was only one man on earth and one woman, and I said, nah, I'm good. And I lived happily ever after. I am the definition of non-committal energy. I was created like this from conception. Like, what? No, I'm good. Really? Yeah, I'm good. It's so true. Like, this has nothing to do with you. I'm trying to break a pattern since the beginning of time. As I told Bobby, this has been going on a lot longer than 84 years. I'm not one of those planets, bro. I've been doing this since the beginning of time. Really? Oh yeah. Then look at how far I've come. There used to be days, dude, and that's some of the days I'm like, fuck. The Lilith comes out and I just, it's like you can't fix her in one day. I'd be like, oh god, I'm gonna die. Alright, so earlier, I didn't include this. What is this? These are the Lumerians. I must read one of these. None of those cards earlier did I have to read, but I have to read one of these on a Sunday. And we left out an Archangel, and I was looking to see if there was more signs of the Archangel we were already reading. So we're going to do an Archangel, and then somehow we're going to shift over into religious studies. It's my plan. If not, these cards are going to take an hour and a half, and I'll have to do another video of religious studies. Are you guys ready? Go ahead, pause the video and do whatever you need to do. Alright, these cards we go in order. This is the highest level of light. I showed you the earliest level, the first level of light, someone at the door, which was the Light Workers Oracles, and we started with the first card, which was what? The first ray of power. Okay, right. Alright, so, after I went through that deck and a couple of other decks, we got to this one, and there's nothing above this one. What comes next in the light? Metatron. I ordered them the other day. I chose to order them from them because I like them. And it's probably going to be the same price. And hopefully for my birthday, I said I wanted certain things. Like, to go to the hot springs. Alright, is this where we're at? There's two cards in my hand. Interesting. What's the card underneath? Crystal keys. And I used the crystal mandalas to give you energy earlier. We'll learn about that. There's lots of, for anybody new, scroll through my videos. They're not labeled in playlists anymore. Those are all locked down. Those were like 200 videos at the beginning where I just was giving all kinds of magical information without any kind of restriction to what this might do. God cleans up the mess. But I do have videos that are labeled working with crystals, crystal work for dummies 101, something like that. I have plenty of them. I do them probably every 3 months. I bring out all of my crystals and I teach you all of the meanings for them. And then there's another one where I bring out all of my herbs. The oils, not so much. I need to go and do an oil shopping. It's kind of like I need to go into town. And, you know, it's like you have to stock up. I need so many of them. Look. Dude, these are at the end. Everything is. This is one of my first oils. It's so filled with cinnamon. I can smell it. It's so strong with cinnamon. It was made for me. It was just a special brew. Sometimes we just specially brew them. Really? So I teach all of that stuff. Right now we're doing communication with co-creation. Okay? This has a lot to do with manifestation, thoughts, putting in thought energy. And communications, of course, we're going to get a little bit deeper, but I want to show you that even without looking at the picture, it comes, you know, everything is thought into existence. And then you speak it. And so that's how it all works. Number 21. All right, nonverbal communication, love language, telepathy, unique ways of communication, light language, multidimensional information, community coexistence, relationships, meeting our higher self, really seeing someone, deeper listening. I also did a teaching, as I'm about to read this, last night on connecting with spirits and stuff, and just follow the trail. I teach about light codes. I teach about all this. Or just start with us and just keep up and don't, give up. We just go round and round. We normally think of information as something that can be written or spoken, but it is something. But if something is multi-dimensional, it is almost impossible to share it with words. And that's where it is. Earlier I was getting downloads, but I couldn't put them into words. I was like, I'm getting downloads. I don't know. I'm seeing a cottage. That's all I could get out of it. There was a bunch of images, and the only one that stuck with me was a cottage. And I have no idea what that had to do with what we were reading. Sometimes I'm seeing it, I don't know what I'm seeing. I'm trying to figure out what they're showing me. It's Pictionary to the fullest. To the fullest. Let's see. I feel I have quite a lot of this information in my field now, and yet my intelligence cannot fathom it. Metaphor or song may hit as its vastness, but it's more like a reminder or catalyst that encourages something to stir inside the listener. Talking about music frequencies and stuff, tones. You can send vibrations through your body to activate thoughts and feelings. They come from outside. They're vibrations, energy. People give off vibrations, and they activate thoughts and feelings within your body when you get near them, when you get near animals, when you go into spaces, when you connect with certain materials, the senses. When you touch something, if your eyes were closed and you touch something, you get a sensation and you get a feeling. It's a vibration. They're all vibrations. Really? Yeah. Let's see. Art is one of the ways I have sought to share this information. Whatever language you speak, the emotion and the message of art and music can be understood. In my healing work, where I feel the energy that comes through hands, there is a sense that my soul, I'm getting a download. There is a sense that my soul and that of my client are in deep conversation. Okay, inner healing work, I feel, let me reread that and then I'll tell you the download I got. In my healing work, where I feel the energy that comes through my hands, there is a sense that my soul and that of the client are in deep conversation. Okay, the download that I got was about, specifically I saw Russ and I saw NF. And I saw these singers and songwriters. They're trying to express their emotions, and this is something I jumped on Marshall like fucking year one. Find a different way to express them. You've always used this. You don't understand what you're doing. It's a coping mechanism called it's your creative outlet, how you express your emotions. You do it musically. But right now, and I told you this, fucking Russ, 3 albums of fucking trauma for 3 years now. Right now, you're expressing your dark, feminine feelings. Music is not where they need to be. Can we just have a moment of silence for that? Everybody internally is going through dark, feminine feelings. Listening to rage music when you're raging is going to only intensify it. When I feel sad and I listen to Ali's music, it makes me hurt more, bro. It doesn't liberate me. It makes me hurt more. Listening to his song makes me look at myself pathetically. You put that and what really happened, and it's real pathetic. How low was I going to sink? I couldn't have you. And that song could easily be sung at fucking Jeffrey Dahmer's fucking grave. That's how sad it is. A person that really wanted something to work, and it didn't. So they self-sacrificed themselves, whether through sex, through something, just to have a few moments with this person. It's not inspiring, Ellie. Going to, Russ is reliving some teenage memories of when his dad stole money and his mom was on Facebook. And he's just trying to, buy new tennis shoes. And he's talking to his younger self as his younger self is talking to him. This is extremely a healing process, but it's not something that is done on radio waves. I didn't listen to Marshall's last album, but he did do the same exact thing. All of you are in a healing state, but you don't understand that that's not the place for it. You need to take a step away from yours, and that's the same thing. Lewis cannot heal in the environment that hurt him. Formula One mentally and emotionally damaged him and took away his ability to have connections with people and life. He cannot start to heal any of that still committed to Formula One. Marshall Mathers lost his entire life, his wife, his children, all the ability to connect with people in order to express his anger on radio waves. He's never going to get that ability to do that again if he's still trying to express his anger on radio waves. It's just patterns, guys. Kanye West. It's not that he doesn't have you guys don't have the creativity. You do, but you don't understand where it's coming from right now. And it is creative dark art, but we don't need creative dark art on the radio waves while people are going through dark days. It's not about misery loves company. You want people to know how you feel, and you want people to resonate with your broken parts. But by doing so, you're triggering them into their broken parts, and maybe they're not ready. When I turned on Russ's music, it was to get hyped and to be a little arrogant and to be better than somebody. Now, you turn it on and you're faced with your inner child, and you're faced with your weaknesses, and you're faced with your insecurities. You're faced with adult realities. And I haven't even listened to one word of what Logic or NF has said in these last couple albums. But it's the same shit, is it? What are you talking about, Bruno? We never talk about Bruno. Where are you coming from in your creative? What emotions are coming out of your creative form? So, forget that. Wolfman. He handles his form of creation, of creative expression, is escapism. But it's not working. You have to find another way to express these feelings. You have to put them where they really belong, is what I heard. You have to tell them to the people that really need to hear them, and quit trying to make them sound pretty. You need to hear them, not us. Moment of silence, please. We depended on you for good vibes, not to make us feel worse while we're going through bad vibes. Can I get an amen? Amen. We're not going to do religious studies in this video. I can already see it. That was the download I got. What is it? Art is one way I have sought to share this information. Whatever language you speak, the emotion and message of art and music can be understood. Okay? And that's what it is you're trying to be understood through your art. You can express it in different ways. I often feel that I am much more competent at conversation in these realms. My I don't know what this is. Synthesia, I don't know, allows me to navigate all this information in real time rather than having to slow down and translate it into words that feel constricted or dull compared to the vast yet simple nature of what I'm looking to express. This is why I paint. A lot of work I do in the unseen realm, but I understand part of my role is to bridge these realities and inspire a wider understanding of what is possible. So that's what we're supposed to do as five-dimensional beings. Once we're able to access the divine and we're given the visions, it's our job to create this inspiration. You're not creating inspiration, guys. You're creating from your hurt, dark places. You're not being inspired. And you are by, I'm not your muse in that sense, because you're not writing the right stories. In essence, sure, I could gain rights to your stupid songs and maybe include them in my fucking documentary to make you feel, part of the deal. Or I could just, totally clown you for trying to force your way into it. Abusing my story and trying to create it as your own. I could very much out all of you and destroy all of you on my way up. Just out yourself, destroy yourself, and create something new on our way up. That together we rose. Whatever. Anyways, we have to take that, and that's what I spoke of for like literally 30 minutes of that video. God gave me a vision of what He wanted us to do with the children on Saturday mornings, and I had to make it seen. And it wasn't, even though you heard it, bro, everybody was inspired by that with children. It gave them great ideas of what to do with their children, too. Play dates for their children. It inspired them of what to do with their children on Saturday mornings. How to be involved with their children, and how to include other children. Maybe I don't get this off for years, but other people will start those ideas right now. They were great ideas. And, for someone like Bridge Fit, who, lives in her house with her 2 children, her and her husband, they can do stuff like this. And they can have little play dates and stuff like that. And it's always that. It's like I see these great visions and I bring them here. It's what we're made to do. I understand that part of my role is to bridge these realities and inspire a wider understanding of what is possible. Thus, you may notice unusual-looking codes in many of my paintings. I have experienced many visual downloads of luminescent coding that can be simple figures or complex and large enough to step into an activation or a healing transmission. The download experience is extremely blissful, visual, and with a sense of fathoming the unfathomable. When I return from my normal state of being to my normal state of being, the information no longer makes sense. Her download, I would think, would be more like transcendence, is what she's trying to describe. So what she said is she gets a visual download of a luminescent code. And the longer she stares at that code, she travels, it can be simple figures or complex. So that's how it was when I started working with Metatron. I said it was like a kaleidoscope. It would start with something simplistic like triangles and circles and squares, and they would move together, and I couldn't put it into words. It was creating structures. It was creating realities. I was seeing it as the basis of everything, from molecules down to fabrics down to human DNA. I couldn't really fully put it into words, but it started by focusing on something simplistic as a symbol. Right? We spoke about that yesterday, I think, and the symbolisms as well. And that's where it is. It's very blissful and visual with a sense of seeing something that's unbelievable. When you return to your normal state of being, the information no longer makes sense. Like, what the fuck did I just see? People often ask about the codes in my painting, and I ask them to imagine a whole library worth of information imbued in a single letter. Then extend that into encompassing a whole sentence. And that's really what it is. they're showing you simplistic visions. And it wasn't that simplistic until I got to Metatron, and he's the basis of simplicity. He starts science, and he's, science, form, and math. That's why he dealt with all of those big-ass minds. Before, I used to see, skits, scenes, as if you will. You know what I mean? Like paused pictures, still pictures. But when they got to be that simplistic, I had to start learning. I didn't know what these symbols that I was seeing were. And that's where I started learning sacred geometry. And through sacred geometry, I understood the connection, not just to the symbolisms, but to ancient languages, which we know as like sigils and runes and hieroglyphics, right? All these symbolisms, right? I learned through that. But it's like, you're sitting there, and at that time I had to change my music. I was listening to classical music. I had to turn the frequency completely down to focus. And I'm just sitting there. And back then, you know what I mean, in those days, that's exactly the type of music that was playing in the great minds, as they're seeing these visions, these math equations, these, as Einstein was getting downloaded with relativity and the understanding of space and time. It comes from simplistic forms, right? Now, you can look at something like that, but that's how people are too. Nonverbal communication, they make the slightest gestures that are huge, very loud symbols. Not louder than red flags. By saying nothing, you're screaming so much at me. You know what I mean? And just a sigh. Because that's what it is. It's like a detective. You're learning to stare at a picture, a still picture, and see what can't be seen. It's almost like the Mona Lisa, but that's how everything becomes. Everything is art. There's something deeper behind it. And that's the illusion of the Matrix. Really? If you stare hard enough at it, it disappears. And it becomes something completely different. The scariest one is the mirror. I don't fuck with mirrors. I tell everyone to stay away from mirrors and any type of top mirror magic. But something like that is like, I can stare at you so long that I'm no longer staring at you. I've seen past you, and now you're no longer there. Nothing is. I'm seeing altered universes or different time that was here before you. I'm seeing everything past you. They call it scrying, where you can just stare at a particular image like this. You know what I mean? You could stare at onyx, you could stare at crystal balls, you could stare at lakes and oceans and clouds, and go beyond space and time. You can't do that when you're staring at a person and your mind is just projecting all kinds of thoughts about this person, what they look like. Look, you're judging them. You're looking at their eyelashes. You're looking at their nose hairs. And while you're doing all this, you're like thinking lots of millions of quick thoughts. As they're talking, you're thinking. And now you have to respond. But as you're responding, you're thinking. And then after you respond, you're thinking about what they're thinking about saying. There's too much going on. None of this is soul-based. It's just overstimulation of the mind. It's trying to solve problems. It's trying to understand this person. It's taking too much. It's too much mind power you're putting into this. But when you just sit back and observe without trying to understand and just gain understanding by subtle movements and stuff, that's where it happens. It's funny. I kept trying to force Bobby to tell me how he felt, to put it into words. All I ever got out of him was, I feel like you're the devil trying to convince me that the grass is greener. That's the only words he said, I feel like. He never said anything else about how he felt. That was the only time he put it in a sentence. And it was very triggering but truthful. So I left it alone. And I kept trying to get him, you know what I mean? I kept trying to read between the lines, trying to see if I could figure out how he really felt by things he wasn't saying or by what he was saying. Right? I kept trying to figure it out. When I saw him last, I didn't try to figure it out. And by not trying to understand where he was coming from, I saw everything. And that's what I said. All this time, I was trying to figure out. I was trying to hear him tell me, even though he had told me. His actions were counterdictive to what his words were. You could tell a person you love them, but then you act like this and they question whether that is true. Can I get a witness? Everybody stand up. Isn't that true? They'll tell you they love you, but then they do something that makes you question, is this an act of love? This is love? Oh, this is love? No, you don't love me. So it's those things. So I was always looking for confirmation to the real love. And he never said it, but I saw it. And that's all I needed. I kept looking for confirmation of it. But then I really didn't have to look. Because that's what even Morgan pointed out. It's like he keeps dealing with you, doesn't he? He's like, that's love right there. Like he keeps forgiving you. He keeps dealing with you. I'm like, yeah. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Why? Because I had the main belief since out the get-go that he was just out to fuck me. And then when I confronted him at the end, why don't you just admit it? If that's all you want. I've already admitted it. I believe that. And with that understanding, I'm still okay. And that's where this whole fucking song of Ali's comes from. Why was I okay with it? Because at that particular moment, that's all I wanted to. That's all I wanted to experience at that time too. But naturally, what always happens right after is I want more. of everything. So that's where the door closes. I told you I was only going to fuck you. I told you that's all we do. I told you. I mean, how many times do I got to tell you? I don't know. When am I ever going to listen to this? And then that was it. It was like, that was it. I realized this is really it. This is really all that it can be. And you can do this again, but it's still the door's still going to close. This is just how it's always going to be. This is all the door opens for. And I kept saying I didn't want that. But at that time, that's all I did want. Was just that experience. And I really just wanted it with him. So it aligned perfectly. But that's how it is you're trying to get the truth out of people. You're trying to get them to confirm what you already know. If you just believe in what you know, you'll see the confirmation play it out. Realistically. What's arguing? Your mind. Your mind's always trying to tell you some bullshit, bro. I gotta just tell you that. It really is. It's always trying to tell you some bullshit. And that's where it is. My mind, and that's where I had to tell God. My mind, I can't fight this anymore, dude. I can't. My mind does not trust him. It can't. And I don't have the willpower to keep doing this to it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that was the huge thing. That was the big thing. That's all I talked about the whole time. My mind never stopped me. My mind never stopped me. I said maybe it was because I was fasting, because I was guided to fast too that weekend. But I was like, the mind didn't stop me. But, you know, let me think about him, or that's where it is right now. It's like, oh God, I don't even want to start to think about fucking Wolfman. The mind's just going to go off. And I got to sit there and take every one of those dark thoughts and turn them positive. Or at least listen to them and get angry with myself. Myself is angry. There's a part of me that's angered by you. And I have to sit there and listen to it go off. And in essence, become angered. And then, you know what I mean, heal the things that, or try to come to acceptance about the things I don't like about you. It's a lot of work. It really is. It really is. It's like, sitting there, go look at Russ. Please don't make me. I know he's just going to piss me off. He's going to piss me off. Please don't piss me off today. You're going to piss me off today. You fucking always piss me off. God. Oh, you afraid? You afraid? And that's it. It's like, I can't not look. I look like more of a pussy not getting pissed off than just getting pissed off. Go look. Go look at his ass. You piss me off. You always piss me off. I used to get all loud in his face about it. The power is being able to alchemize it and just come back and be like, oh, by the way, you're an idiot. Instead of being like, you're a fucking idiot, and you're this, and you're that, and I can't stand you. I still do it. It's a great thing. I really like to. It makes me feel good to just kind of blow some steam. He annoys the shit out of me. It's like, go look at him. Please don't make me. That's why I'm like, don't talk about them. I already thought of them. They annoy me. God. You want me to talk about Russ? Or about Wolfman? Can we talk about Wolfman? No. Please don't make me. What don't you like about him? I don't know. Don't get me started. Please don't, because then I'm going to get angry. I don't want to talk about it. That's you guys. You want to talk about your parents? No, I don't want to fucking talk about my parents. You want to talk about your ex-lover? No, I don't want to fucking talk about my baby daddy. I fucking hate that motherfucker. You want to talk about the person that got you fired? No, I don't want to talk about it. You want to talk about the government? You want to talk about Trump? You want to talk about God? You want to talk... No! I'm just going to get mad. Yeah? Well, it's time to get mad. Let's dig deeper. And how does that make you feel? I don't feel like doing this. When will we do this? Tomorrow? Monday? When you're in your mind and emotions? All triggered and shit. Anyways, going back into your downloads and stuff. Yeah. The download experience is great. Yeah. The codes can open us up to all that the multidimensional world can share. There are portals to edges of our conceivable reality. I have come to understand the codes are a light language and have revealed in meeting other visionaries who have painted almost identical light codes. As we evolve our conscious awareness, we start to pick up on information such as those around us are about to say, or which the universe is trying to tell us. We talked about all of these awakening gifts yesterday. Divinatory meaning. How are you communicating beyond words? Perhaps you are being misunderstood because there is a dissonance between your words, actions, and behavior, and what you mean to communicate. That's not what I meant to say. Well, that's what came out of your mouth. How was I supposed to receive that? What was my response to that supposed to be? I'm just saying. Words, I go back to that. I don't know what me and my daughter were talking about yesterday. Somebody said something. I think somebody asked her to send her a picture of their nutsack or something. It's like, do you think that was real? The question is, do they have a picture of their own nutsack? Or is it someone else's? I was like, and then, what about dick pics? I got one of those. What was I supposed to do? I deleted it immediately. Trauma. I didn't need that image in my head. Do you guys really take pictures of your nuts and stuff, and then it just stays in your phone, and you just, recycle that picture? Tit pics and shit? What the fuck? I'm just saying, going back to it, what was my reaction to this supposed to be? I'm unhealed. I have sexual trauma. I don't react properly to nudity and sexuality and that kind of force. I don't like forceful actions of sexuality. You could say it's this life, or just the fact that I'm the fucking Lilith.
There's someone in my house.
What? She must be playing her game. Words are like spells, so be conscious of what you say, as you may be vulnerable for sabotaging your intended meaning. And some of the words cut so deep. What Wolfman said about the initiation, bro. What some of the things you guys have said, it scarred me. That. What Bobby said, I feel like you're the devil trying to convince me that the grass is greener. That scarred me. Certain things he said scarred me. Right? What Wolfman said, well, if you want to just abandon all your material wealth and run away to a temple and live in fucking sacks, then, all power to you. What? Did you just make fun of my fucking entire life story of being drugged through the fire? The initiation? The homeless brotherhood of Buddha? Are you fucking kidding me? You're making jokes of the ancients? It hurt my soul. Because of what my soul had to go through for you to make a joke. My soul had to drag my ego and my body through fucking to the greatest lengths to become what you think is a joke. Years, it's in those videos of me crying. I left everything. And you think it's a joke. You think it's a joke what God's done to me and the chosen ones and the prophets? You think it's a joke what he did to fucking Jesus? You think it's a joke what he did to fucking Moses and Noah? You think it's a fucking joke what he did to Job? You think it's a fucking joke that what he did to pregnant Mary? He made her pregnant and then had her hunted. Nobody gave a shit about her till they were out to kill her and her fucking child. Think it's fucking funny that he takes us from our happy life and turns us into fucking peasants of the dirt in his glorious name? It's a fucking joke? You'd rather run from God and be all powerful? And I'm supposed to forgive you for that? Forgive him, for he knew not what he did. Because he does not know the ways of God. Bro. Fucking Bobby. We could have a good time if you could just put down the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't know what voices you're hearing in your head. Jesus Christ. You made fun of my becoming. And now I've become something that you can't even touch. You may be verbally sabotaging your intended meaning. Also, be reminded that words can mean different things to different people. I looked back at Mike Stud and I tried to ask, why did he block me? Because I've been calling him gay. And his music is terrible. I basically put him down every time I talk about him. So he doesn't want to hear me talk because I have nothing nice to say about him. Mike, are you not attracted to men? Are you denying the truth? Are you denying that your music is mumbly? And that you literally auto-tune it to go at the same frequency as the beat and nobody can understand what you're talking about? And you yourself make music for washed up, retired 30-year-olds? Rather than taking it as constructive criticism and changing it, you'd rather shut down and continue your behaviors and say, this is who I am, and fuck you. That's not true. Do you have anything louder than your bromances out here? If you don't want to be perceived as being sexually attracted to men, then you might want to just evaluate why a person would consider that you are sexually attracted to men. You're making up excuses that you're hiding a woman. That's very Michael Jackson of you. They call that a beard. You're lying, bro. And as far as your inability to take criticism to your music and you thinking it's better, get in line. You think Marshall doesn't feel a little bit offended? Who's this bitch? Fucking Kanye West doesn't think I ain't got no fucking nerve? You think that Juneteenth didn't think I was pissed off? You think that, you know what I mean, fucking Big Sean isn't pissed off? Okay, but what about the old schools that are still listening to me? Like Ice Cube, and Tech Nine, and Bieber, and Daddy Yankee. Yeah, they're a little offended that I challenged their deliveries and their skills. And I pushed them to be more positive about what they're doing out here. And I reminded them of their power and their authority and their responsibility to the youth and to our fucking frequency and our way of life. But they didn't shut down like a girl in their feelings and say, she didn't know what she's talking about. Or did you, Russ? 3 years, I told you something was wrong. I was the only person in all of these years to actually say that there was something severely wrong with your interpersonal relationships with your family members. And the more I started to bring it up, the more sensitive you became about it, and you just kept pretending like it wasn't real. You kept shoving her at me, and all the great things you do for your family, you kept feeding it. And now here we are 3 years later, and you're barely starting to be aware that something might be wrong. That's some growth. Kanye West being able to admit that he himself has had some homosexual experiences. That's some serious fucking growth. Was I wrong to accuse Ali of being gay? Yes. I came from a hurtful place. He was just trying to show love to Russ. A man of his age in their 20s have nothing but a bunch of homies. That's all they really do have. They don't hang out with girls, and especially guys like this that eat fucking candy bars and play video games. There's like 5 of them in a fucking car going to find chicks. These are the nice guys that, you know what I mean, will pay for your dinner, but you didn't, they didn't invite you to go on a date. I called him gay because he was showing more love to Russ than he was to me. And it was an insult to his culture and to his manhood. When I said from the very beginning that Mike Stud was gay, it was a certainty, and it was only confirmed. Russ and I will never, ever, ever forget the gentleman's crop top that he made. That was the absolute beginning of this conversation. Now you go to his bromance with Aaron Rodgers and his close associates that he shares hotel rooms with. One of them that has come up publicly as an enormous porn fanatic and masturbator. His closest companion. These are guys that would do drugs, get drunk, fuck females. Supposedly, a P. Diddy party was not gay as long as there was females involved. I go back to this. Even Bobby, he's not happy with me with this. When I question his pornography behaviors and his attraction and all of that, I made him reflect. And I think it might have been that made him block me. It's making him question his own sexuality. Some of you have not realized that through your pornographic addictions, you have become addicted to male appendages. So I have every right to question which part of this graphic visualization is gratifying you. And when I did that, a lot of people fell off. They felt attacked. I did not attack you. I made you very aware of your behaviors. The question is, do you continue them? Do you question them yourself? You deny them and you go back to what you were doing and say that, there's nothing wrong with you. But now every time you turn it on, now you're straight to the dick. And that's it. Are you gay, or are you now creating gay tendencies within yourself by these visualizations? This is a real fucking conversation to be had with you men. Men have been hiding their sexuality for far too long. And there's a lot of us women that get caught up in hurtful situations by this. Extremely hurt by this. I told you, my ex-husband turned out to be extremely bisexual. If anything, more leaning towards the male because of his hatred towards the women. And that stemmed from his mother and his sister. From the physical and sexual abuse that they put on him. His mother did physical, mental, and emotional abuse, along with a lot of neglect and abandonment. And his sister did the same with a lot of sexual abuse or teenage brother-sister experimenting. He grew up with just those women. If he has them, he has nobody to love him. So he must accept the abuse and stay in the abuse. He'll never be healed. Now, because he grew up in a normalization of this type of ancestral abuse, he's dangerous. People that normalize pedophilia and incest spread that. It just needs to be reprogrammed. There's always these pile of people you wish you could just put on an island and forget about. They were just taught it by older family members, and they were taught to normalize it. The problem with that is they take this normal behavior into their lives, and they take those behaviors and those patterns, they get replayed in life. That's the problem. So in order to break a lot of my family's generational curses and theirs, I had to remove my children from that family and my own. And I always talk to them about stuff like this. Not the incest or anything like that. I watch them closely. And I watch, you know what I mean, the evolution of their behaviors in that sense. That they're not advanced or whatever. And that's what I said. If my son isn't right now at this age starting to explore, you know what I mean, pornography and masturbation, then he's not developing as typical teenagers do. Stuff like that. Is he overdeveloped? Is he going to extremes? And that's where it is. Girls, why are they overdeveloped? Why are they becoming extremely sexual? Search for love. Men are telling them this. They're under the understanding if they do this, they get that closeness with a man, which equals love. Women identify sex as love. It's a way to get them to be loved. Men feel loved while a woman is giving themselves. So there is a love exchange here. But it's not because the communication. I'm doing this because I love you. This is how I know how to love you. This is how I show you love. It's a love language. I was able to express that. Other people aren't. Do you know what I mean? So, when we're talking about, we went really, really deep into this. We went all over the place with this. Development. And you're really trying to get understanding and stuff like that. It starts with yourself. All of this is yourself. When you start to understand yourself, it projects outside of yourself. Right? So I started with this. It's like, self-sabotaging. Right? You're trying to express yourself, but you're trying to limit your words so you don't say the wrong things. And by doing so, it comes out wrong. Because you're not just being fluid. The truth is shocking, but at least it's fluid and it's freeing. Also, be reminded that words can mean different things to different people. Okay? Something maybe, that's what happened. I got stuck on Mike's stud and we went deep into all kinds of sexuality and shit. Something may get lost in translation. An issue may be cleared through improved communication. We're going through Mercury retrograde right now. That is the planet of communication. All communications are getting fucked up right now. You're not coming across properly. And actually, I think it was something crazy like, what was it? It was something crazy that happened with communications. It was like Sagittarius. Mercury was in Sagittarius. So it's like you're just gonna, no filter communications is what's coming out. Really? Pretty much. An issue may be, listen carefully to what someone has to say without interruption. Furthermore, it may feel scary to share vulnerable truths, but this may be the only way forward. This card also encourages great exploration in the realms of telepathy, healing, and the arts such as poetry, painting, and music. where there is a collective communication beyond the mind. Guys, if you can sing, you can draw. We're all creative. We just are afraid to look stupid trying. We can all dance. We just don't all dance to the same rhythm. But when you're drunk enough, or whatever it takes for you to let loose and let your body dance, we all get the same feeling of blissfulness. That is called a form of creative expression. Some people can be more fluid in their body to move more fluid with the notes of the music, where you can be a ballet dancer, or, you know what I mean, or a pop dancer, or you can do different, you know what I mean, you can be, you know, what did it used to be called? I can't remember anymore. My brain's fried. I can't come up with thoughts and words. Being useless right now, brain. You can't say you can't dance. It doesn't matter if you don't sound pretty singing. You love to sing. You're just afraid of being heard. Nobody has to hear you. Go to a place and sing out loud, because it makes you feel good. It's a form of expression. Just make sure that what you're singing is true to your heart. Don't be, you know, I can't limit your expression. If you want to go out there, sometimes I do, and you just want to get mad and punch someone in the face and listen to a bunch of Eminem music, it's been on my Pandora all day. I like to shuffle that shit so I don't just stay mad. Okay, now let's switch this up. Let's go listen to some 1950s music. Let's, you know, that's a way to do it. Dance, you can dance. You might not look like everyone else while you're dancing, but you can dance. You can paint. I'm hearing, you can dance, having the time of your life. See? It's an expression. You can sing, it doesn't matter. If I go out there and I start singing that, or maybe something probably more Latin, but if I sing it over and over enough, somebody would recognize that song and start singing it with me, and they would start going with the vibe, right? Dancing. They might watch you, but you're going to watch you with a smile. You're going to create joy in your awkward dance moves. You're going to create joy in your awkward karaoke. You're going to create joy with your macaroni picture. You don't, it's a child. And you sit there and you don't tell you what to create. Make me a pretty picture, says your parents to the 3-year-old. And you give them everything and they come up with a big old smile. And you're like, it is beautiful. And you put it on your refrigerator. And every time you go to the refrigerator, you see more and more of the beauty of this art that your child has created for you. That's it. It doesn't have to look like somebody else's picture. It was something that you just expressed. I have a picture that I hold on to. We did this assignment, I don't know when. Here it is. We were guided to draw something. This is what I came up with. All I did was draw lines, and it turned into a feather. I took a bunch of colors. You have to look very closely. They're just lines. A million lines. I didn't shade them together. I just started drawing lines. That's it. I grabbed a bunch of colors, and I just started filling in the white with lines. And I keep this because it turned into something. All I was doing was drawing lines, and it turned into something beautiful. It's almost like a black hole. It could look like a vagina. It could also be the crevice of you know what I mean, of a woman's boobs. It could be a lot of things. Depends. As I'm staring at it, I can see a lot of different things come through it. At first, it was just a feather. What do you see in it? All I did was take a bunch of coloring pencils and draw a bunch of lines, different colors. I took a pencil and I drew a bunch of lines this way. And then I put that pencil down. And I jumped over here and I drew a bunch of lines this way. Then I turned the page and I drew some this way. I was just filling up the white, just covering the white with colors. That's all I was doing. What do you see? It doesn't have to be anything. It becomes something. And if you look real close, it's almost like a grain of wheat. It's just lines. I promise I did it myself. You see them? If I had a better phone, you could see them, how they ended up blending together, but you could see all the different colors created different colors, and it's all created. It doesn't have to be. Your song doesn't have to have words. It just has to have feelings. Your dance doesn't have to have steps. I do a lot of somatic dancing, which I think they enjoy watching me do. I sit there with my legs crossed and I move a lot. I do a lot of dancing just like that. I never even use my legs, as if I was in a handicap chair. I am the most dancing person in a handicap chair. I sit, my spine is straight, and I am just swaying all different types of beautiful ways. People are driving by, you know, they're dropping off people, they're loading up people, they're parking, they're this, they're that, they're in and out. And they just see me over there with my headphones on, and I'm burning sage, and I am swaying all different kinds of ways with smiles. I'm giggling, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm just creatively expressing myself. Now, while I'm doing all that, what is really happening? I'm traveling multi-dimensions. Seeing other worlds. I am actually leaving my body and astral traveling to places in this dimension. All kinds of things. All kinds of things. Or, did I finish this card, or what is it? This card encourages you to explore the realms of telepathy, healing, art such as poetry. And that's really what it is. If you notice in a lot of my posts, I'll put, you know, Phoenix. I found that to be poetic. A punchline, it could be used as music, but I'm putting my name behind this. This was creative. This was poetic. Really? Painting, music, where there is a collective communication beyond the realm. Nobody knows how to play the drums until they start banging on the drums and they start making noises. And then it becomes a drum solo. It's just noise. It's just banging. And I'm seeing something really interesting, you know, during Christmas they do it especially. The water cups. Somebody learned to put water in a cup. Different layers of, you know, layer it with certain layers of water. And each of them made a different noise. You know what I'm talking about? Where they take the water in their finger and they rub it around the rim of it and they make all those different noises. That's creative expression. That's why they have that America's Got Talent. People are so creative and they express themselves in all these weird ways. Hula hooping. This is a way for their soul to express, to show joy. Something out of this world. Unicycling. Could we all learn it? Maybe, but not so gracefully. Jumping on a pogo stick? That's pretty cool. We can all learn how to ride a horse, but not everybody's going to do it so naturally to make it look so beautiful. But it's fun. And that's it. It's like creative expression. You know what I mean? People get high and go make a fucking meal, and they come back and they feed people. That's a form of creative expression. You know what I mean? It's like, look what I've created. Oh, look what I've created. I'm seeing that movie. I'm seeing Castaway. When he finally creates fire, he's like, I have created fire. He feels like the coolest guy ever. He's like, I have created fire. And that's really it is, the co-creation. All you need is a spark of intuition and a spark of genius. And then you get to work with it. You couldn't be like Benjamin Franklin out there. They gave him the idea, bro. Nobody ever thought of no shit like that before. I love that, Big Ben. They're like, if I could figure out how to catch that, I could use that to light up our houses. The idea of electricity. Benjamin Franklin. I love that idea, watch. It worked, Ben. It worked. I'll never forget what your idea, bro. Your idea changed our worlds. I love that idea. They thought he was a fucking idiot, bro. I'm gonna catch electricity. I'm gonna learn how to harness electricity. And it went on. He came back as as Albert Einstein. But let's get back to this electricity work. And then he split his soul in Nikola Tesla. He really needed to learn it, bro. He really learned it, dude. Who is he now? CJ. Aye, aye, Captain. What's he gonna do with all this knowledge of electricity? I don't know. He told me to get in my computer. He's on his way. That's such a great idea, right? That's what it is. They inspired man to create great things. You're being divinely inspired. You are the creator. But always remember where the inspiration came from. Because otherwise, your creations will fall. If they're not built on divine truth, on God, then they're going to fall. If they're built on nothing more than your own hard work, that's not going to outlast time. You need God. Really? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave there. I knew this was going to be a whole long one. What are we at? 1:11:44. Lovely. I'm not reading any archangels. I don't think we're going to do any religious studies. If we do, we might. It just feels like forever late. I'm tired. Is this 8 o'clock? Jeez, it's been the longest day of my life. Hey, I love you guys. Tomorrow's Monday. We do shadow work on Mondays. We dig deep in and see what's bothering us, what residual energy, what we need to kind of let go of, what we need to flush out of our system, how we're still feeling, anything that's left over from the weekend, and then we charge through it in a new week. So, welcome everyone. Love yous. Laters. Bye-bye now.